What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today, we're here again with another deck list, deck profile, deck update. And this is a very special one. If you've seen our first one, this is the Big Bob's Mega Melons deck for February 2025. And if you want to know what the deck's about, I'll start off with a little fact. You know, this is obviously a Canadian-based channel, Canada-based. You know, and in Canada, our milk comes in bags. So, obviously, to start off here, a lot of it's some normal sauce because of just these are the cards that have more Big Bob's Mega Melon selection of them. So we got Kanon the Sword Mistress, but not one, but two. And this is something I've done with the deck a little bit, is thrown in the OCG versions so you can get a comparison. Obviously, we'll bring them in close here, and you can compare a bit visually. Obviously, the OCG versions we couldn't run in a real tournament, but, we could hit someone up at locals maybe or something, and just see if we can, trick them into dueling us without, telling them what's good. Next, we got two Red Archery Girl. Once again, I followed the same idea of having two, so you can see the English version versus the OCG. Once again, lots to compare. Obviously, many differences here. What is interesting is, a lot of them do have some weird kind of changes that aren't too, important realistically. You can see, this one has its belly button covered, which is, a weird kind of side effect, I guess, of them just being well, we're already censoring, so they do it up. Next, we got two Succubus Knight. Clearly, we have done the same thing here and gone for some power plays, but obviously, this can work with Ancient Rules, which is, some sauce to potentially work with, and, just some other normal monster-y stuff. But Succubus Knight, looking pretty saucy as well again. Another weird thing they got rid of is the green, third eye on the card when they censored it, which is, I guess just the symbolism of it, religious stuff. Next, we got a personal favorite of mine. Why is it a personal favorite? Well, of course, it's a little chesty, and it does have a less censored version in the OCG, which we haven't got yet, but if you look very closely at its card text, it is indeed a pussy fairy. Contrary to her lovely beauty, she claws on her enemies. So we got two of them, Neko Gal number 1. There is a Neko Gal number 2. It doesn't say Pussy Fairy on it, but it is something I could also work in the future. But this is just a great inclusion because it's a Pussy Fairy. It says it on the card, you know what I mean? I don't think they'd print newer cards with that card text. Moving into some sauce that I don't have TCG versions of. This is Water Dragon Fairy. Very, very nice. She's, she's tatted up a little bit. Got some of the sauce, got some of the Big Bob's Mega Melons going. A beautiful little card. Something that I could get the English version of, obviously. But it depends on, in the future, which way I take the deck. If it is to kind of show off the censored, non-censored, if it is just to go full Big Bob's Mega Melons, then it would end up a lot more OCG-ish cards. But it's not that big of a deal because they're normal monsters. So it's not like I need to know really what they're doing. But or what they say, I mean, because they're not really doing anything. Next, we have Water Girl, and there's a plethora of other water normal monsters with the big tatas. So, of course, we could play into that a bit more. That's something I mentioned in the previous deck profile. Right now, obviously, we're just expanding our sizes. But Water Girl here, another one that is censored that I could get the I have the uncensored version, but I could get the censored version. Lastly, for ones that we have just non-TCG versions of, this is Maiden of the Moonlight. Another uncensored little beauty here, looking pretty saucy indeed. Moving on, some of the stuff that we still have in from the previous deck profile. We got Harpy Lady and Harpy Girl, the early TCG edition, so they are still uncensored. So, she's not covered up. She's not covered up. So, classic versions. that I think are pretty good and, you know, are decent at least for the crossover of having uncensored but not TCG stuff or non-OCG stuff. Next, we got a Gemini Elf. I figured, you know, 2 for the price of 1. But this also kind of leans into what could possibly be in the future, which is like the Toon Big Bob's Mega Melons deck, which I could have all like the Toon biddies and maybe some of the extra sauce and, you know, working around that. But of course, like I said, there's like kind of the Beach Bob's deck of the Water Girls, you know, and then the could be Toon Big Bob's. And then there's lots of, you know, different extra sauce that we could work into for making them, you know, different kind of branched off ideas. Next, we have Enchanting Mermaid. We don't have the uncensored version yet, but, you know, we save some stuff for the future, some stuff to look out for. Same with Water Emotics. Beautiful that we have the censored version, but the uncensored version is just a marvel to look at. I recommend you Google it, just like in the last video. Check out Water Emotics, you know, like Japan, uncensored version, anything like that. Same with Dark Witch, an absolute beauty that we unfortunately don't have the uncensored version of yet, but I figure could work in more with the kind of ancient rules plays and stuff that we're doing with like the Succubus Knight and stuff. And of course, the idea that kind of inspired the deck, we still only have one of them in there because we're working with some of the other plays and normal monsters and such, but Maiden of the Aqua, one of the few cards that made it through with its giant Mega Bobs into our version. Who knows why specifically, but as you can see, they are pretty big bahonkers. And, you know, it works into that watery kind of Beach Bobs idea. Next, we have a Retrain, which we had last time, but same thing. We have 2 of these extra Beach Bobby uncensored beauties. And we won't go too hard into their effects, but it is you can target 1 water monster in your graveyard and apply one of these effects. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water, so it would fit into that Beach Bob's deck, and it is only if the target has a level. Until the end phase, this card's level, also its name, become the same as that monster's. So that could be opening up some potential for some other weird plays. And then also, only if Umi is on the field, special summon that monster in defensive position, and you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Umi in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So pretty saucy little plays, especially if you are going for the Beach Bobs, straight full kind of water monsters, mermaidy plays. And then for some actual kind of, you know, motion in the ocean, we got some Rescue Rabbit. And this kind of fits in well with us having a censored and uncensored version, so we can bring them both out to the field and kind of baffle our enemy with, you know, the sensory and unsensory of the Big Bobs, even if it is, you know, just till the end of the turn. So, moving into spells and traps, we continued the theme, and we still have the 3 Soul Release. I haven't got an uncensored one, but I'd probably bring it down to like 1 and 1 TCG and 1 OCG once I get it, but it is a little pricey. This is probably one of the most expensive decks I've made just because of all the OCG Big Bobs in there, which is hilarious. But Soul Release, of course, it's a Big Bobbed woman, more visible in the OCG version. But the plays are actually kind of half decent for, you know, removing cards from your opponent's graveyard. So pretty good, pretty good. Next, for once again some actual kind of sauce, we threw in 3 unexpected die. Of course, we have a plethora of Big Bobbed monsters that we can use this to bring out. Unexpected, you know, thighs or something. I don't know what you want. Unexpected thigh. Next, Ancient Rules. Still only have 1 in here, but we could bring this number up, especially if we have, there are a couple more that I haven't mentioned in the video or the previous deck profile that are level 5 and do have Big Bobs. So this could be something we work up more numbers of. Fitting into the water kind of stuff, we still have just extra little pieces that would probably go into the full Big Bobs, like beach edition. Salvage, you know, just to recycle. Umi, to go off with, you know, the Maiden of Aqua and Yugioh of Aqua. And then a Legendary Ocean, same thing, you know, it's treated as Umi. A Monster Reborn. And then right now, just for some stall power, Swords of Revealing Light. Of course, there's some stuff we're looking into, like Dion Quito or whatever, the master of Big Bob's Mega Melons. That card would be hilarious to get in, but it's also another kind of expensive-y card just because of the memes and stuff like that. But it's something we could look into in the future. Next, we got 2 Solemn Wishes, a nice trap that features a babe on it with some breasticles. So pretty decent. How effective some of these cards actually will be in a duel, is is not likely, but at least you're rocking the same strats. Next, we got the Armored Glass. Of course, we used to have more of these in the deck, but we brought it down because it's not really that useful. But it is about it being like kind of clear glass armor for a woman, plus like glass, you know what I mean? None of it makes sense. It's a see-through armor that's made out of glass to go on chicks. So it's just hilarious. It fits in with the deck. Its effect basically useless. Bad reaction to Samochi. Kind of a similar along the lines of Solemn Wishes idea. But, she's sad about her big breasts. I don't know. And then we just threw in Tornado Wall to fit in with the Umi plays / watery stuff. For the extra deck, we still have a Super Robo Lady in there that we cannot summon, and we even took out Robo Lady, so there really is no sauce in there to summon it, which just makes it hilarious. Pot of Extravagance is something we could work in maybe in the future once we get enough Big Bob ladies, but obviously it'd be real easy to go multiples. And then we got the Mystical Sand, a beautiful little witch biddy, which I believe is is summonable with the Ancient Elf, which is a biddy, but the other one is not a biddy. So kind of left up to a situational thing where, is it just going to be another card in the extra deck that we can't summon? Probably. But is it worth it? 100%. So that basically covers the updates for the Big Bob's deck so far for that February 2025 update. Of course, if there's anything you think I missed, any Big Bob's cards, that could go in, and I know some people are suggesting on the last video a kind of big booty deck, something we could also work into. We have lots of ideas, of course. We want to get in, like Elemental Hero, Bust on her chest, Burst on her tits, Burstinatrix. We'll work her into the deck. Stuff like that. Of course, if this is the first time you've seen this deck, make sure to check out the first profile. We have some other sauce in there and some other ideas. And it wasn't too long ago, only like a month ago. So I recommend you check that out. I recommend you check out my other deck profiles, pack openings, Yu-Gi-Oh! DIY projects, all kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, more serious decks than the Big Bob's Mega Melons deck. So like I said, I recommend you check out all that content. And otherwise, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know when future content's coming out. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Peace.